Hey guys, so I haven't really started my morning yet, but I watched a video by James Yeager right after the Paris attack talking about how every individual was responsibility for the safety of their own personal life and that of their families. And so, in respect for that, I appreciate what he's saying. I'm going to show you my angst about carrying. I do have a carry conceal permit. I have the magazine out of my gun, nothing in the pipe, and I've tried all sorts of different holsters, and what I eventually came down to was it is very difficult to find a way that doesn't show if you're a woman, and it doesn't matter if you're an extremely tiny woman or a well-endowed woman with hips, or even a woman that carries some weight on her and has some real heft. We're not built the same way as men. Our shoulders are narrow. So where men, their shoulders are out here like this, their shirt drapes straight down. With women, our shoulders and our shirt is slimmer than our hips. And so if our gun is riding at our hips, so I do have my Leatherman on this side, and if I were to wear a sweater over the top of this, the fact that I have my Leatherman here might balance it out so you couldn't tell, but what never really balances out is this. Let's see if we can show you from the other side, is this right here. It always pokes out. So this is an inside the waistband holster, and I was just tinkering with it this morning, trying to figure out, because this is the problem, is that I have a narrow waistline right here. I'm narrow at this point. And so if I try to wear it on the side, the metal of the frame here pokes out. However, I could wear it flat against my back. Let's see if I can get it to turn. These are always so much fun to get on and off and adjust. If I wore it flat against my back like this, it would actually conceal pretty well, because it would follow the line of my waist, of my back. The problem is, in all our classes, if you fell on this with your spine when your gun is in the holster, you could really hurt yourself. But this is the way that it conceals best for me. Not in the front. In the front, it's really obvious if I have a gun here. It juts out. In the back, but then wait, watch. Watch when I actually get the firearm in. For one thing, I can't get it in easily, which means that I can't get it out easily. See? I can reach all the way around, but what if I have a coat on that I have to lift up to get to it? And so, number one, yes, it could fit best here as far as concealing it. But as far as access to be able to get to it, it's best here. And so, it's just such a pain in the butt. So, for the longest time, I carried in my purse. I am not willing to carry one in the chamber, even with the safety on, if the gun is not on my person. And so I was carrying without one in the chamber in my purse. This is so much fun. Ladies, those of you who are looking into a carry conceal permit, these are some of the things you need to consider when you're getting your holster. Our backs are narrower, and so these holsters take up like our whole back. And again, if I put it right here where it's easy for me to reach, I have that lump. I have that lump right there, but I'll show you. My gun has a tendency to stick out at the side. And it's especially if I'm wearing a sweater, the butt of the gun, the handle of the gun, will hold my sweater away from my body. It's just, it's just not comfortable. And if I have an outside the waistband holster, then it's even more prominent, because then the only thing really holding it in is my belt instead of all of my pants. So I find this uncomfortable. It pulls the waistband of my pants into this side and makes it tight on this side. Makes it uncomfortable. Makes my crotch of my jeans pull up into my crotch region, because the belt is pulling the pants up. This is doable, but men's waists are like this with all the bulk up here. Women's waists are like this, so the gun cants into your waist and gets turned, because your hip is tipping it out this way and right into your hip. I don't mean to just be sitting here cranky, but I've tried so many different holsters. So ladies, if any of you out there have a holster that you love and you're shaped like me, where you have a waist that is much smaller than your hips, I'm not saying that I'm a tiny person or anything like that, but because of the shape of my body, it is interesting trying to carry concealed. This is, because it's pulling my jeans up into my crotch, this is not terribly comfortable. I wish I could loosen, let's see, do I have another? I don't have another loop on my belt. Where I would like to carry it is right here. This is where I would like to carry it. Again, make sure that you're not messing around with your gun when it has ammunition in it, when you're trying to adjust your holster. I would like to carry it on, but the paddle is so wide. This whole leather part is so wide that to carry it on my hip makes either one side or the other of the stiff leather. See, and then now that I've moved it back there, this would poke whatever I'm wearing over the top. But that's better. That might be better. At least that doesn't pull my pants up into my crotch. And remember, because of the positioning of your hips, make sure that when you are removing your firearm that you are kind of leaning away from it rather than poking it down into your butt. With kids, and now it's right into my hip. You can adjust these. There's snaps on it so that you can adjust how the gun rides, whether it's high or low. But you can see from the other side that this pokes out. This pokes out quite a bit. I'm going to probably walk around without ammunition in today, because the ammunition adds quite a bit of weight to the gun. I like a Beretta PX4 9mm. It's comfortable in my hand. I really like it. My biggest problem with carrying a firearm is that I have kids. When I carry it in my purse, I would have it, the magazine would be full, but I wouldn't have it chambered, because I don't always have my purse on me. And because even though my kids understand gun safety, not every child that comes to my home understands gun safety. My children are not allowed to handle these kind of firearms. They are allowed to handle their single shot 10-22s when we're at the range. They are not allowed to handle guns at any other time except when we're on the range, and it's those specific firearms. However, we have lots of cousins and everything that come over, and so it became kind of a safety problem of, well, I want to have a loaded firearm in the house so that if I needed it, I had it, but I don't want some child to shoot themselves or someone else by playing with the gun that's loaded in my home that's unsecured. So we do have a safe next to our bed that is locked and has a keypad on it, and I've gotten to the point where I don't carry in my purse anymore. I don't know how much of a point there is to having a firearm if it's not actually on your person, with the exception of safety guns in the house that you can quickly load. I don't like revolvers because they don't have the same safety features as an automatic. For me, that's kind of a really big deal. Even now, I probably won't carry one in the chamber. I think that I will start out and carry it loaded but not chambered, and do more blank fire, or not blank firing, you know, the little plastic cap thingies. Do more practicing with that. And of course, you never practice in the same room with your firearm as where you have ammunition. You have your ammunition stored in a different room from where you're practicing with or cleaning your firearm, because a lot of times you can forget that you're just practicing, or forget that your mind can remember that what you do is you load your gun, and you might load your gun accidentally, or still, you just have to be so careful when you're handling your firearms. Keep your ammunition separate when you're practicing. Don't have it in the same room if you're dry firing. If you're cleaning, keep your ammunition in a different room so that your mind doesn't get ahead of you, and you put your gun together and you load it and you forget that it wasn't a practice, one of those little practice shot ones. Just safety. You don't want to be your own worst nightmare, and instead of defending your family from bad guys, instead you become the stupid Darwin Award person who ends up having an accident in their own home. So those are my frustrations with my carry conceal setup. This one feels pretty good here on the side. In summer, I have a very difficult time carrying concealed because you're trying to stay cool, and at that point all of your clothes are more form-fitting, whereas in the winter you can put a sweater over the top, and as long as you're not getting into really active positions where you pull forward and have your shirt lift up, you should be okay. But again, if you have a carry conceal permit, it's legal. You're fine to do that, with the exception of like courthouses and post offices and schools, that kind of thing. So tell me what you guys think, and give me some advice if you think there's a better holster out there for me. I really love this gun. So I have had other guns, like I think I had a CWX, CW9. I had a really tiny one. I think it was a car, and it was teeny. It was teeny tiny. It was easier to carry, but shooting it was painful, extremely painful. I would get 3 practice shots into it, and my hand would start to go numb, and I would start to just really hate to shoot it, and so my accuracy would go down. And so I couldn't practice with it, whereas with the Beretta, I really enjoy shooting it, even though it's a larger firearm. Before we started to shoot, I took lots and lots of classes when we first brought firearms into our home, when I was pregnant with Paige. I went and took all the classes. We got as far as personal defense outside the home, so we went through all the other classes, did personal defense inside the home, and then we moved to personal defense outside the home. And we went to all the shooting matches and everything, and it was super, super fun. And then I got pregnant with Kaya, and I felt like I didn't want to be around the lead so much while I was pregnant with her. And so we took all the classes, and it was super fun, and I would recommend that so that you know your safety procedures. And once you take these classes, you can go get your carry conceal permit. I believe in order to get your carry conceal, all you have to have had is hunter safety in Idaho. That's all you have to have taken. But we just really enjoyed taking these other deeper classes, and they explain the law to you so that you know what your rights are, and also what your liability is by carrying a firearm. So anyway, once again, we'll talk to you later.